You feel what I'm saying? So
Uh,
just consistently pay attention to what's going on in that area as far as what cars are being rented on Turo, and just off of that, you can start you can get the car that's being rented. So now, like for instance, here a lot of people like to go out of town, out of Detroit. So off the rip, I may have me a luxury car, but first, before I get the luxury car, the Tesla, the Mercedes Benz, I'm gonna get me a little economy car that's gonna sell. You feel what I'm saying? That's gonna do what it's supposed to do
yeah,
consistently every weekend, because I know somebody's gonna be pulling up at DTW and they're just gonna want a little Maxima. You know what I'm saying? They're not gonna want. You know what I'm saying? The average person is not coming in town saying, you know what? Let's get the 580 today. You feel what
mm,
I'm saying? But somebody is gonna come off the plane and say, "Let's get us a family car for the week because we're just here to see grandma. We just here to, you know what I'm saying? Come in for the family vacation and then we headed back out of here. You know what
and
I'm saying?"
having about 3 Mazda 3s on deck, you feel me? That's cheap on that maintenance, keeping those available for people on Turo.
And then they say that's what pays for the luxury. So they're like, once you start generating that good income off of that, now that pays for your luxury. Now you ain't got nothing to worry about as far as how I'm gonna pay for the luxury. No, you got a few economy cars on the road, so that's pretty much working for you.
Hey man, I just want to tell the people, just in case the people that don't know, hope y'all been having a great day. What up, though? What's good?
Yo,
It's your
yo,
Tank, aka the Knowledge Bank, with my mans.
no fear Quan from No Fear Elite.
Yes, sir. And this is our
Our financial
wait.
awakening. What's
Let's
the
go.
deal, brother?
Let's go. Money, 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 money.
We got some good stuff for y'all today, man.
So if you was here last week, we was talking about the history of money. You know what I'm saying? Talking about where money comes from, the idea of money, the value of money, and the tangible products that used to be attached to money. And even talk about that fiat currency. Make sure you check out that last episode. Quan, what was you talking about last week?
Man, last week we just really dived into, you know what I'm saying, where money came from, where the idea of exchanging currencies and exchanging certain products for values started first, and then what's going on with the rest of money. You know what I'm saying? That they started trading at those metals just for tools first. And then once they start realizing, hey, we don't need no tools no more, how can we start creating things that hold value so that we can start utilizing the exchange for different things? You know what I'm saying? And then that's when the whole, you know what I'm saying? That's when the whole finance thing started coming into play. And like we talked about markets, I think markets was huge, man. Understanding that you can create markets without having a big ass Meyer building, man. You can create a market between my family, your family, and three other families. Now one person grows vegetables, one person does this, one person does that. And now
That's
we're
right.
all exchanging the dollar and we're exchanging the value in between our market. You feel what I'm
That's
saying?
right.
So I think
People think
that was
of the market like your farmers market, your local farmers market. If you're from Detroit, if you live in Detroit, we have something called the Easter market. And at that Eastern market, people all used to come together with their own product. Quan had his product, I had my product, the people on here, they had their product. And what we would do, we would set up shop and exchange for those products inside of our market. And nowadays we have a lot of markets. We have the stock market, we have the real estate market. We have the sports economy market. We have a lot of different markets, and it's important to be knowledgeable about these markets. You know,
yes.
we have created this to give financial empowerment and financial literacy to people. We're going to start off today with some very, very basic terms. Now, something that I have down to it is going over some terminology, some financial literacy terminology. Now, you may know some of these financial terms, but when it comes down to it, Bruce Lee once said, he's not scared of the person that knows 1,000 different punches. He's scared of that person that knows how to throw that one punch perfectly. Okay, so it's all about repetition and going over these things and being a master of them. So we're going to go over them. First term that we're going to talk about today is the ARP. What is the ARP? The ARP is the annual percentage rate, or the ARP is the yearly interest rate changed on borrowed money. Everything has an interest on it. Every time you borrow some cash from the bank to get a car, to get your student loans, there is a percentage of money extra that you have to pay on that, even with your credit card. So pay attention to your annual percentage rates. Keep that into account.
Hey
asset.
guys, and while you guys are listening, man, I just want to reiterate: make sure we are taking notes. Make sure you have pen and paper, man. These are all, or if for me, I'm taking notes on computer. It's so important to make sure that we're dialing into this information that's being poured out, man, so that we can retain it and regurgitate it and do what we need to do with it.
100%. Go ahead and write them down. You feel me? All right, so now we're gonna go with assets. Assets is any source, tangible or intangible, owned or controlled that holds value. In other words, assets contain value that can be converted into money. Honestly, I got this pair of headphones right here, for my own leisure. But if I decide to buy another pair of these to sell, that's an asset. If you go on if you go on Stash App right now, if you go on Robinhood, if you go on one of these brokerage apps, as soon as you buy a share or a piece of the share,
Asset,
that's an asset. That's ownership. And
be
that
asset
ownership
driven.
is for money. Exchange it for that currency so we can get more things. Let's go to the next thing. Bankrupt. Bankruptcy is a legal status that a person or an entity can enter when they are unable to repay their debts. Now,
Keep that in mind.
bankruptcy, it the borrowers from debt collection. So if I'm a company that borrowed $2 million to start my company, and now I done ran it up all the way to $20 million. But since I ran it up to $20 million, I took out more loans, and now those loans is added up to $30 million. And now that company, like a Hertz that went bankrupt, cannot pay that money back. They want to make sure that the money that they have collected, that it cannot be taken away from them. They want to be able to save some of that money so they can put it towards assets and rebuild. So bankruptcy, a lot of people look at it in a negative light, which it can be a negative thing if you look at it in a negative light. However, bankruptcy, it can help a person, or better yet, a business entity, able to stop people from collecting the debts on the money that they borrow. So you can use that wisely. The next thing is a budget. We're gonna talk
Yeah,
a great deal about a budget, and a budget is a plan for using income to meet your financial obligations. It tracks how much income a person receives, and it details how that money will be allocated to pay for expenses, build your savings, and meet financial goals. I have a list, and on this list it says the first of the month, rent; the third, phone bill; the fourth,
yes, sir.
Amazon Prime; the
Yes,
ninth,
sir.
car insurance; the 13th, Wi-Fi. I know what every single dollar is coming out at what time. Very important. Get your budget straight. All right. The next is comparison shopping. Now, comparison shopping, that is a strategy for consumers that they can use to save money on purchases. You don't have to buy the first thing that you see. You don't have to buy the first car that you see. You can shop around and look for a better deal. And it ain't got nothing to do with being broke. It got something to do with being financially literate, and knowing that you can get that same thing for an even better price.
And I think even more with that, I think with that one term chopping in there, you also can, if not compare with something and chop the price or chop a certain purchase, maybe you can take a purchase that you're usually used to purchasing at, let's say for instance, you usually like to buy your shoes at $300. You know what I'm saying? Now maybe we find that next shoe where it's like, okay, I can chop it down and get something for 100. So maybe if we're talking, especially when he's talking about budgeting, we're talking about budgeting. Now, maybe instead of spending $300 on that, you know what I'm saying, that new drop on the Yeezys, maybe we spend 150 on some dunks, and that other 150 goes towards that share he was talking about. So now, with us being able to chop the money in half and say, you know what, let me be smarter, let me be more frugal with my money. Like bro said, you're not
Hey,
broke. You're making a better decision.
it sound way better taking that 300. Me personally, I'm talking about me. It sound way better taking that 300 and getting a pair of shoes for 150, but taking the other 150 and getting Nike stock. How much is a share of Nike?
Ooh, let's get right to it. And this is why we do this, family,
How much
because
is a Nike? People spending how much on what, and they could be whole owners, bro. Your shoes are getting dusty and old. If
Nike
you
share
are the
price is 107 right now. So if you're spending 500, if you're spending 400 on some Yeezys, then you can definitely get a pair of Dunks for $130 right now. I'm a shoe fanatic. Y'all will see. We'll talk about it a lot more. I love a pair of shoes, but I like to buy my shoes when it makes sense. Okay, but let's say we got 300 to spend on shoes, man. We're gonna chop it in half, like bro said, and then we're gonna go ahead and get us, if you was gonna spend 200, if you was gonna spend 175 on, you know what I'm saying, on a pair of shoes and the shipping and everything like that, you might as well throw 200 down and get you 2 shares of Nike. We know that brand is going to be in there for a long time, and we're going to be able to get some equity within that share over time.
Yes, sir. We talking asset talk, man. It's financial literacy over here.
Yes,
Stop,
sir.
man. We serious about this over here, man. Next thing, let's talk about this credit. Let's
Woo.
talk this credit. Credit
Yikes.
is a financial arrangement in which money is borrowed for a purchase and paid back at a later date. You can get this credit for your home, for your car. It's even credit nowadays. You can get you could got the Beyonce tickets for for pay later on the pay plan. You feel me? Now, when it comes to that, it allows consumers to make purchases that they would not be able to afford if they had to pay the full price in one installment by spreading the cost out over time. Credit, it enables borrowers to make big ticket purchases, such as, like I said, homes and vehicles. Common forms of credit include loans and credit cards. Report is a record of the borrower's credit history, and it is produced by the credit bureaus that typically consist of four sections: your personal information, your financial account history, your history of credit applications, and the public records. Got to watch what you're doing out there when it comes to this credit now. Ain't nothing to play with. Now, the information in a credit report is used to calculate a consumer's credit score, which is one of the primary factors that lenders consider when evaluating your credit application. I'm going to continue to go with this credit thing, right? Credit score. Credit score is your three-digit number, that three-digit number that represents how likely you are to repay that debt. That's right.
Ooh.
Related and based on the information in the borrower's credit report. And it can range from a 300 all the way to an 850. Now, borrowers with higher credit scores are viewed more likely to repay their debt obligations. So if your
Yeah.
name is good in the streets of the
Yeah.
bank, they're gonna look out for you. You a real.
Yikes.
But if your name not good in the streets of these banks,
Sheesh.
and you got a bad credit worthiness, which is a term that refers to how much confidence a lender can have in a borrower's ability to repay a loan. And your credit worthiness is primarily determined by how well you are able to manage the previous debt obligations.
Yikes.
The
Yikes.
obligations. How well have you been managing that debt? How well have we been managing that debt? You feel me? When it comes down to it, our generation been swindled into some of the coldest debt with the student loans. You feel me? I swear I didn't know I was signing up for $50,000 worth when I was
Especially
18, but
now
I
that they got three
play
hundred
ball.
dollar courses that could make you a gazillionaire.
You feel me? And when our parents in the 80s, they paid literally 100% less, 400% less than what we paid to go to college. It's
Man,
actually crazy, that method, that metric. But going off that tangent, that the credit is very, very important, and it all adds up. And it all has to do with your street cred. It's just like a street cred, bro. But it's
it's
from the
literally
bank.
credit.
How good are you with giving them their bread back? If I give you 20 right now and you told me you was gonna give me that 20 back on Sunday, am I gonna see that bread? And every day I don't see it, your confidence in me lending you some more money and all other banks goes down.
Because
Let's
guess what? When you don't pay him back, then he gonna tell me, bro, I don't know if you should give bro that couple dollars because he ain't too trustworthy with that credit. And the
and that
most important part about that credit, that
That's
I
the
think,
credit report. We all got a database that we tap in. This dude,
dog,
she don't pay. So now when you go to Quan to go get some bread from the bank of Quan, the
I'm gonna
international
pull up that report. I'm gonna call around. What's going on? Who is Susie Q and what she want with my money if she ain't gonna pay it back?
facts.
And the crazy part about the credit is man, you can utilize that credit to actually get and acquire assets. You feel what I'm saying? That's the most important part about it. It's a lot of people who, and this is like, because this podcast is about the 9 to 5 everyday person who is trying to turn their everyday finances into more liquid and more reassuring and reoccurring money. You can start acquiring assets with credit, money that you don't have. And then once you put that credit in the right place, meaning an asset that can accumulate value, now we can pay back and we can start building our credit report to make us look better. And then once we build that credit report, then like bro said, we're gonna get more funding. But we gotta use that credit for the right things. So if you're gonna utilize credit, if you're going to, you know what I'm saying, make sure that you're building your credit and that you're locking in on learning about credit and learning what's good for your credit, what's bad for your credit, what's a good utilization number. Those will all be things that will kind of help you get more funding, more money, and be able to acquire more assets because this podcast is asset focused. So, in order for you to be able to grow, you got to get them assets.
And you do not have to be an entrepreneur to have assets. You could be
Facts.
that's working at McDonald's making $15 an hour. I don't know how much that is a month. I can do the math. And you can take $50 a month and invest in McDonald's. Get a
Yep.
share every
Yep.
month. Get a share of something, bro. Like, and that's ownership. Like when you own a share, it's ownership. And people give you money. These companies give you money just for owning a share. They give you money every week. I mean, not every week. I'm sorry. They give you money every 3 months, every month, every 6 months, or every year just for owning their shares. And the
Yep.
more shares you own, the more money they give you.
So let's put this in simplest terms, guys, because I think this is so huge that we push this through to you. I know we talked about it last week, and we talked about how important it is with making sure that we are acquiring assets and that we're creating ownership. But understand this when we talk about the stock market. Understand that the minute you take your funds and you put them into the stock market, let's say you put them in a, and I always speak for the S&P 500 or some type of index because we're talking about we're making our money grow. And at times the market goes up and down. And if you aren't too comfortable with the up and down of the market and understanding where the market is kind of taking, what it's doing and how it's doing it and what's going on with your money, then you put it in an index fund so that you can just watch your money grow and you can see your money either maintain at a certain point in time or continue to grow over time. But understanding that if you like, and we talked about the paper notes last week and understanding the fact that that paper note that used to be backed by gold is no longer backed by anything. So in order for you to create some value in that paper note, you have to invest it in something. So what he's telling you with us getting these stocks, with us going and grabbing us a quick, you know what I'm saying, a quick little, you know what I'm saying, Amazon. Well, not that ain't a quick little because Amazon shares be hitting you with something.
Bro,
But you
you
know what I'm saying,
Palantir Technologies for
man.
$14. You can go invest in
You feel me?
Snap for $12 or something like that. Like,
Man, it's companies that's building batteries for electric cars, which is going to be a very growing business, and you know what I'm saying, in the future, that are giving shares for little to nothing. But
fuel
those companies are going to
cells.
grow. They're going to grow tremendously. So all of those electric battery creating companies, those companies are all going to grow because that market has not even been closely touched yet. So you have so much opportunity to grow within that market. But overall, I just wanted to communicate that it is so important that you attach that money to that asset that he's talking about, because in order for you to start seeing wealth, in order for you to start understanding how money works and watching your money in a process, you got to be able to attach it to something with some value.
That's right. That's right. Now, the next thing that we're just going to go over a few more terms, and then we're going to transition to what Quan got for us, okay? Because I feel like what we were talking about with this credit is so important.
Man,
I kind of just want to let it breathe on that. If your credit is great, congratulations.
Congratulations.
Each one teach one for real, for real. But if your credit is not great, see me, I know my personal experience. I don't know about you, but I grew up with my parents teaching me not to get a credit card.
Terrified of credit. Terrified
I
of
was
anything that
terrified, terrified of credit.
almost the devil. It's almost on the same level as the devil. I'm not
Credit cards is the downfall of all. You feel me?
Bro, that is crazy.
Made me not get a credit card, but that made me not really seek the knowledge to know how to use credit,
Swear.
which is so very important that we're going to have a whole class, a whole talk, a whole podcast strictly about credit.
That's
But
gonna
in
be
order to get your credit together, you must know how to manage your money so you can manage the $10,000 that you borrowed for that whip.
yes, sir.
Manage the $30,000, $50,000, $100,000 of worth of student loan debt that you got.
Gotta have a
So
plan.
you try to manage that money. And in order to manage that money, you must develop a plan. Now, what's that plan that we was talking about? If you were taking notes, you know that's number 4 of the terminologies that I was speaking of. And number 4 is your budget,
Yes, sir.
which is your plan, which is your plan to manage your money. And guess what you can't do? You cannot manage what you cannot measure. And Quan, he's going to give you some great tools and ideas for your budget.
Yes,
Go
sir.
ahead.
Yes, sir, man. Hey, so man, my boy Tank really tore that thing up, man. He really gave us some great terms. Like bro said, I think those are a phenomenal set of terms for us to be able to get started. Something for us to be able to study over the week and be able to just lock in and understand it on another level. The stuff that we get, man. It's not just to hear it here. You take this stuff and you expand it, man. So just some little stuff, man, that I got on budget. I've got one budget. I have a budget scheme, a budget tactic, that you guys can use. But I also just wanted to give a few just small smidget ideas about budget and go over a few other things. So number one, like bro said, a budget is just a plan of what you will spend to save, invest, and borrow. Okay. It's just a plan on what you will spend, save, invest, and borrow. Okay. So understanding that, look, I can save this amount. I can put this amount aside. I can do what I need to do with this amount. But I know, like bro said, I know where my money is going at all times. Okay. So one of the budgets in the systems that you can use to kind of pay attention to your money and could be in control of your money is your 50-30-20 budget. Okay. And this will divide your take home income. Okay. This divides your take home income. So if you have a 9 to 5, if you're working for self and you want to really lock in on controlling your finances and where your finances are going, then you'll use this tactic in order to break it up. And what you got is 50% of your needs. Okay. And right now we're gonna go over what the categories are, and then I'll expand in the categories, and then I'll give some breakdowns of needs, wants, and save and debt ratio based on what you make. I've got a few different incomes for monthly here, and you guys can kind of plug your income in really and get what you need to get. If you want to drop your income in the chat, you can drop your income in the chat. I'll throw it in the generator. We'll break it down and we'll kind of break it down from there.
And
Okay.
if
So
there's anyone that you believe needs this valuable information on how to manage their money, budget their money, and this financial literacy, go ahead and hit that share, send it to them right now. They can tap in and learn and get this budget plan because it's about to be solid for real, for real.
absolutely, absolutely. We're gonna really lock in. Okay. So that 50% is your needs, that 30% is your wants. Okay, that's your wants. And we're gonna talk about wants because we're gonna talk about what some of the wants are for you, and then if your focus is to grow and become better in your finances and in your business life and in your money life, we're gonna focus on some wants that kind of push us more towards our goal, and then 20% is your savings and your debt repayment. Okay, so understanding that you're gonna have some money set aside that you're gonna need to have set aside for your debts and your payment. So what we got right here with 50% with our needs is your housing, your food, your transportation, your utilities, your insurance, your small loans, or your child care. And when I say small loans, I mean you might go to the check and go and ask for a $750 loan or whatever the case may be. Let's make sure we get that paid. So one more time, I got that list one more time. That's housing, That's your food, that's your transportation, that's your utilities, insurance, small loans, and then your child care. Okay, so that's your 50%, that's your needs. Okay, now your 30%, that's your wants. Okay, so I'm gonna give you guys some wants that the average everyday person will want, and then I'm gonna start throwing some wants in that may help you get yourself to the next level. So we're gonna go. One is travel. Okay, so any type of travel, I think that's a good thing. Like bro said, if you're not trying to be the next, P Diddy or Warren Buffett, and you just want to start budgeting your money so that you can take your family or your girl or your man or whatever the case may be on trips, then you might want to budget your money this way to just have some extra money set aside so you can go on trips and set some money aside for the trip. Then you got your entertainment. That may be going out with your friends. That may be hanging out, going to concerts. That may be whatever the case may be. And like I said, this is just your basic standard, any person type of wants. And then we got fashion. Your clothes, your shoes, your clothes, what you wear. How you put it on. You know what I'm saying? As a guy, I like to put it on. So you got to goddamn, you got to do your thing. So we got to put it on. And then I got subscriptions, your Apple Musics, your Amazons, your Amazon Primes, your what I'm saying, Disney Pluses, your I don't care what it is you like, what it else you deem important for a subscription. Everyone has something that they feel like they need that you gotta have, if it's a cable, Xfinity subscription or anything like that. And then the last few that I have that would help you in your wants would be any type of investments or funds for investments. So something that you want to set aside with your want money so that you can kind of get the next step up. Okay, because if we just keep going with the regular everyday, I'm gonna get my shoes, my clothes, I'm gonna go on vacations, and I'm gonna just have a lot of entertainment, then we're not gonna get a chance to actually see a separation, in an increase in our income and in our daily asset and debt to income ratio. So we want to kind of make sure that we're throwing some things in there. And then I got the gym. You know what I'm saying? If you got a gym subscription, that kind of goes in with subscriptions, but I think it's important. Anybody who you talk to that's at the next level, they always talk about taking care of their bodies, putting the time in to exercise, whether it's running, lifting, whatever the case may be. For men, I mean, for anybody, weights create testosterone. Testosterone helps with decision making. It helps with different types of things that help your everyday and your daily processes mentally and physically. So making sure that you're putting the time into your body is very important. And then I got hobbies. Let's make sure that we do some type of painting. If you're artistic, if you do like to do the painting and twist, you like your wine in a tree, goddamn, go on ahead and do it. You know what I'm saying? Create your wine in your tree, and do it with your date or whatever the case may be, or your cousin or your sister, and do it like that. And then yeah, so that's our wants. Okay, so then we're gonna go with our 20%, which is our savings and debt. And with the first savings and debt, you want to start creating and setting aside an emergency fund. Okay, so we want to make sure that I've been researching, and for most people say make sure you kind of put around $1,000 to about 2,500 for an emergency fund. So that's car, that's a couple months rent, you know what I'm saying? Whatever the case may be, we have so many things that come at the blink of an eye that we're not even paying attention to, and they just sneak up right up under us, and they could get in our needs, or they could get in our wants that require us to pay for certain investments or certain, you know what I'm saying, hobbies or certain entertainment. So we want to have that emergency fund so that we're not dipping in that so we're not dipping in the rest of the percentages, so that we have a well flowing cycle budget plan. Okay. Then you got your 401k and your Roth IRA or life insurance. Okay. We want to make sure that we're investing in the right insurance. So if you work with a company that provides benefits, let's make sure you locked in, you tap in with your everyday financial advisor, or maybe, you guys are going through somebody, and through your job. Let's make sure that you're talking to the representation there and making sure that you're investing in the right life insurance plans, because I'm all for your term life insurance and everything else. I'm not going to say that's the worst thing to do, but if you can start investing in some funds that you'll be able to borrow from in a little bit, that'll be a really good situation. Is savings fund and emergency fund the same thing? Two different accounts for each. So I think that's a great question. I I personally believe emergency funds and savings is separate, yes, because your emergency fund would just be based solely on your an emergency, like some type of maybe a bad situation that happens, and then your savings will be technically, when we talk about savings, we're talking about what we're investing the money in. So we're no longer just, so the emergency fund is more a plan of if something happens and I need some money to replace whatever happened in my life, I can go to my emergency fund and do it. But now savings becomes our 401ks and our Roth IRAs, and the certain things that we put our money in that create interest for us, and they create that good old fashioned vocabulary that bro put in there, to be able to help us grow. We don't want to keep saving, because putting some money just aside is just being saved to be spent, versus putting.
What you want to do, as soon as you get that extra bread, that extra thousand, that extra $5, whatever, for your emergency, just put that up in the account. Don't
Mm-hmm. Yep.
build on it. So
Yep.
if you have zero in your emergency fund right now, when you get paid on Friday, plan to put 20 aside,
Yep.
50 aside. If you can go higher, go higher.
Go higher. Get to it. Get there as soon as
Oh,
possible.
and don't touch it.
Yep.
And build on that every single week. So a month later, you have at least $100 within that emergency fund,
Yep.
or $200 in that emergency fund. And guess what? At the end of the year, it ended up being $1,000. If
Absolutely.
you can do more, do more. But
And then
do
when you take from it, put back as well.
facts. But do that first. Build up that emergency fund first.
Yep. That's the
That's,
first
don't
thing
touch.
with savings. First thing.
Now, after you got that 2 bands up, 5 whatever it is, just in case something happens, just in case you miss a week of work and you don't get that paycheck, you get to use that money. Now use your savings. Now you save. Now
Yep.
you're able to put money towards your Roth, your 401k.
Exactly.
You're saving for your stocks, and getting your assets,
Exactly.
but you don't touch that emergency money for that.
Absolutely. And that's a great point, bro, because and I
But
think that's a great question.
the emergency money is first, because the stock, the savings and stuff for the stocks, you want to make sure that that's money that you just got on deck. Like, it's calculated risk when it comes to these investments. I'm pretty sure Quan can tell you
Yep.
more about it. You're not taking your last to make these investments.
Facts, facts. These are calculated. And that's why we are putting the budget plan in order in general. Because now when we create this budget plan, it starts really creating like almost a chokehold on our funds and where they're going. Is like, in order for you to get a dollar out of there, they got to squeeze themselves out of there. But I think, like you said, the most important thing is creating that emergency fund first, so that you never feel like you have to save for anything else. So if you put that 2,000, that 2,500 away, now you got 2,500 that, let's say something is off with our funds and we don't have no money for groceries. Now we can go into our emergency fund, grab 200, whatever the case may be, and we good. You know what I'm saying? So that emergency fund is for anything that really is an emergency and it has to be done right now and we need it. But then the rest of our savings is what we're investing in. So it's the 401k, the Roth IRA. You're paying back your credit cards because you want to continue to build that credit report and show that
Yeah.
you're paying things back. So that's a part of the savings and debts, making sure you're paying your credit cards. After that, it would be any type of car loans. You know what I'm saying? Making sure that your car loans are paid off or taken off your credit, whichever one works. But I would say pay them off. School loans, they don't really make the school loans super effective to the credit report, but it's important that if you show that consistency of payment, you show that you're willing to pay your loans, your money back to anything that you borrow. So it definitely helps the credit report if you do that. So you can do a lot of stuff with student loans to kind of push it back and not have to pay right now or immediately, but it will probably be dope, you know what I'm saying, to probably get right to getting at least some type of payment plan started, or see how you can get those loans removed. And then any type of credit lines, like let's say if you were building your business credit, you might have a net 30 or a net 60 or a net 90, and those are things where you can just buy a quick, you could get a notebook and
Tell them what those terms mean: a net 30, net 60, and 90.
Yes,
Just to
sir. So your net 30s will be any type of credit line that you'll have, and you can get things for your business, and you're paying back whatever it is that you're getting over 30 days. So when you see a net 30 or a net 60 or a net 90, those are the spans in which you're paying are the numbers. The 30, the 60, and the 90 are the spans in which you have to pay your credit line back. Okay, so whatever company you're going through for your credit line, you'll invest in, go ahead and get you a net 30 or a net 60 or a net 90. You'll get products within that credit line, and you'll make sure that you're paying back that credit line over time. And what that will allow you to do is build business credit. And as long as you show that you can continue to pay your funds back, you'll be able to do some big things with your credit and make a big change, in your credit. And I think that, that's all I got for the 50, 30, 20 today. But some of the main things that I wanted to just point out is if you utilize budgeting to control your money, then you'll be able to control the money that you have left available. Because for instance, like when I, just taking this Wall Street Trapper stock market class, man, he has he broke down just a small budgeting plan for assets, and I just want to share it with you guys because this is something that once you set this, let's say you got $500 a month set aside and you want to invest it, this is the way that you can do it. Now that you have that 50, 30, 20 separating all your money, now let's look at it like this. So let's say this is my money that I have for investments. We got stocks at 30%. We got cash at 25%. We got bonds at 20%. We got real estate at 15%. And we've got gold at 10%. So just that little breakdown right there. Now that's no, don't get it twisted. That's not a $500 asset column. That's a build up over time. But this asset column is just a small portion of what you can create once you've created a budget. And
can you drop that one more time for me?
yeah, yep. You want that one more time?
Yeah.
Yeah, so we got your stock market. I mean, you got any type of stocks, any type of Apple, Target, Menard, whatever it is, whoever's public, you can go in there and get your stock. That's your 30%. Then you got cash, any type of cash, any type of revenue, any type of money that you have, that you've made from whatever type of asset you got. Now, cash, you got 25% cash. Okay, now you've got 20% bonds, whatever kind of bonds you want, that help build money over time, that create some finance for your family later on in life. That's something that you will invest in. And then you got your real estate. Understanding, like we said earlier, the more you connect your money to assets, the more value you hold in your money. So if you own real estate, then 9 times out of 10 you are in control of your finances. You have a true control of your finances. You have assets that really can be cashed in for something. And if we understand what assets are, that's what overall builds up our net worth. You know what I'm saying? How many assets do you have, and how's that combined based on what your debts are and what you got going on? What are your top three stocks you would recommend to invest in? So this is a good one. I like this one. I like this one a lot. So for me, I'm going Apple. You know what I'm saying? I'm going Apple because it's an everlasting building. So actually, let's take it back. Let's take it back. Because I am of course, an index guy, and in index funds, ETFs, all types of things. Of course, you got to go with your S&P 500. So I'm all about long term investing. So that's the stock that I'm
And
always going to.
index fund is, or ETF, just for the people that may not know.
Yes, sir. So your index funds is a big stock that is combined of pretty much every stock that you can come up with. Any stock that any market, any area, anything that's doing anything and any type of growth is in that index fund. And what it is it's something that creates interest over time, and based on what the market is doing is how the money is shifted within the fund. So let's say, like for instance, the S&P 500. Let's say Apple is down, but Amazon is up. Now we're going to shift all of the funds that we have that are just riding on Apple, and it's going to shift to an Amazon or anything else. So understanding that these funds will change based on the market, but they always change in your favor. And then your ETFs are just groups of stocks. So it's a group of different. So let's say you might have a real estate ETF where you've got plenty of different companies that are all in one. They might be all real estate, or you might have electronics, or you might have let's say energy, any type of energy or natural resources. You might have
You're
gold,
freezing
silver.
up a little bit. I don't know if it's
Say that one more time, brother.
you good now.
Good. Yeah, you might any type of so it's stocks separated by
Was
category.
these ETFs, there are different type of ETFs. Like you have a airplane ETF with Delta,
Mhm.
Spirit in there, Alaska Airlines, JetBlue Airlines. And
Yes,
you can
sir.
those companies all at once. They even have an ETF for social media companies, which has in Meta, Snapchat, Tumblr, and everything like that.
Does it do it automatically or do you switch it up? So you can set your investments to automatically come out of your account monthly or weekly or twice a week. You can set up an investment what do you call it, schedule with whatever
Um,
brokerage you're investing in. Go ahead, brother.
I think she meant with the does it do you have to switch it up when it comes to like that S&P 500?
Nope. So they'll do that for you. So that's the good thing about that, and that's the safe part about your S&P 500s. And when we're talking about those,
The 500 best companies out right now.
mhm,
Only the top 500 best companies out
500.
on the S&P 500. And as soon as you're not one of the top of the best 500, you're out of the S&P 500.
See
So you're
ya.
in the best 500 companies out there.
So that fund is going to always grow, and your brokerage that you are investing in is the one that will be making sure that your fund is taken care of. So you don't have to worry about changing any of that stuff. Your brokerage is going to take care of you, and you'll be solid.
All right, so you got the S&P 500 number one for you. And then after
Tesla number two, man. Tesla number two. We going Tesla number two because at some point in time, I own so many shares in Tesla. I will be some type of owner, some type of shareholder in that company, man. So look, shout out to Tesla, man. I'm gonna invest the shit out of Tesla for the next 30 years, man. I hope to meet my guy up there, Elon, and talk business, man. Hopefully, I can create the next goddamn electric car around here.
I know
Well, I'm gonna go Tesla with that, man. And then you know what? I'm gonna go with a stock that goes towards a strategy. And we'll talk about Zim Integrated, which we talked about, which is an import export company on boats that transports all types of different products for different companies up and down the seas, and they make sure that those companies get their products where they need to be done consistently and on a great high level. I think that company kind of is worth somewhere around, I want to say 3 to 7 billion. I'm sorry, but that share price is somewhere around what I think we so when we looked at it, was around $14, bro. And
hmm
yeah, Zim Integrated was around $14, but the year this thing. Listen to this, guys. The yearly dividend price is $25. So if you're a dividend investor, understanding that if I'm getting $25 annually from one company, and then I take that $25 that I get from dividends and I throw it into that S&P 500, that's free money building every
and
time I get into
what
dividends.
dividends are real quick.
Yes, sir. Yes, sir. So dividends are pretty much like a reward that comes from the companies that you invest in. So every time you invest in a company, and not every company pays out dividends, but the companies that do pay out dividends are showing you their appreciation by giving you a percentage based on what they make. Okay, so whatever that company makes, if they pay, they get that money, then they're gonna say, "Hey, man, I appreciate you buying shares in this company. I appreciate you believing in this company. Here goes an annually percentage. Here goes a quarterly percentage, or a half a year percentage. Okay, so you could get two a year, you could get three a year, you could get it just depends on the company. And then did you say you go through your bank? So I believe you can do some investing through like Chase Bank and stuff like that. I know when I was with Chase, they had some opportunities for, like, depending on where your level was in investing, they would give you a certain amount based on what you were willing to put in this account and whatever the case may.
Personally, though, I do advise you to start your own brokerage account and do not go through any stockbroker. When you go through a stockbroker, you have to pay them a percentage of the profit that you make from that company. Now, you could do that if you want to have like higher yields, that's okay. But having the financial knowledge and the financial wherewithal to do the research and make your own investments is so powerful because that broker may not want to invest in the same things that you are interested in or that you may be close with. And with that being said, now I'm going to be talking about my three top investments in the stock market. And what those would be actually would be number one, Apple. Now the reason, and that's what
Yep,
bro. Now the reason why I say Apple number one is because I'm
for
speaking on
sure.
Apple phone. I
Yes,
use
sir.
my phone every single day. I use my Apple Watch every single day. They're getting into the healthcare field. Apple is an amazing company, and they are ran phenomenally. And when you look at the amount of money that Apple has cash on deck in hand, they have billions of dollars for research and development to create the next best thing. They don't have a lot of debt. When you do research with some companies, they got debt. And when it comes down to that debt that these companies may have, if you're invested in their stock, they're not using your money that you invested to make new stuff. They're using it to pay their debt off. And they
Yep.
don't get dividends for real. And I've been seeing dividends from Apple from continuing to buy shares. And they give me money per share every 3 months. You
Hey,
feel me?
elaborate on some of that medical stuff they got going on. I didn't even know that. What's going on? Do you know any like small details on that?
Um, so Apple is getting to the medical field to the point where when you go to the doctor, all of your medical information it will be stored on this device here. So no matter if you're in Houston, Texas, or Detroit, Michigan, and you always go to Detroit, Michigan to the hospital, once you're in Houston, they have access to everything, and they have access to how your heart has been beating, to how your respiratory system has been, for how your sleep patterns have been. It helps you and take your medications at the right time. There's so many different implications when it comes to this device here.
Absolutely, brother. I agree with that so much, man. Apple was my first obsession when it came to investing, especially because I love innovative companies, and I think it's so important when you are investing in the stock market to make sure that you invest in companies where the CEOs are dedicated to creating new products, are dedicated to be innovative, jumping in new lanes, creating new lanes. You know, your Facebooks, your Mark Zuckerbergs. There's a new store for a different product every year almost on Facebook. There's a marketplace. There's a Facebook. They probably got Facebook Music. They got every type of app, every type of something
You can
to.
watch on Facebook now.
You feel what I'm saying? To stream. So it's always a way to generate money. So now, just off of the fact that you can watch TV on Facebook, that means that Mark Zuckerberg is probably charging somebody for advertisements at some point. So he's always bringing a dollar in the company. So we want to invest in those companies. Like I said, I'm a Tesla guy now because I know that the electric thing is getting ready to go on a rise. I mean, I don't even have a Tesla, but just off of the simple fact that cars are trying to become more futuristic, every time I stop my car turns off in order to be able to save gas. What that is our cars are starting to become more electric. So over time, that will start to transpire into where my car is going to be turned into just completely being electric, because it's not going to make any sense to just be turning on and turning off and turning the engine on and off. We're just going to put it in a situation where it can sleep. You know what I'm saying? So just little stuff like, you know what I'm saying? Just little stuff like that. We want to invest in companies that are going to always be in business, because even when the first thing that they created kind of slows down, they're going to drop something else that's going to blow up.
Which takes me to my next favorite stock to invest in. Number two, when you want to research something, Quan, what do you do?
Man, I jump on the internet. I jump
What
on Google. I jump ding ding ding.
you Google it. People don't research stuff; they Google it.
Yep.
You got Chrome on your own. You got Chrome on your phone. Like you use Chrome to get on the internet. You use Gmail.
Siri
Google
is Apple, and Siri
YouTube.
goes to Google.
What's up?
Let's be real. Siri is Apple, but Siri goes to Google to find all information. If you touch and you press on the information that Siri has looked up, it's going through Google.
That's right. That's right. And if you're watching a YouTube video, guess what? It's owned by Google because Google owns YouTube. Google runs stuff, bruh. It's Apple. It's called Alphabet. That's the name of the company. That's the parent company. Alphabet. I
So if
love
you
it.
want to invest, Alphabet, you want to put Alpha. That is the stock name for Google.
Yep. Let me look up the ticker.
And when he says ticker, he means the short abbreviation for the company name. Okay, so you get when we give you guys tickers and we give you guys stuff to invest in, we're gonna do our best. Number one, to give you guys companies that are easily able to invest in, but can hold some value and some change in your financial experience.
Google's ticker, Alphabet Inc., is just GOOG. Yep. And my third best, it's Microsoft. As you can see, it's all technology companies. Technology runs the world. I got
Yep.
to name. Microsoft has many different great things that they use. Teams, Microsoft Teams. They're these products that I'm talking to you about. That's my best three investments: Apple, Google, and Microsoft. You use them every day. Majority of people
What
use
you want to do?
their products every single day.
Yep.
Using their products every single day, that means they got money generating. And you always want to go who got money generating. I love Ian Dunlap, he created the Red Panda Club, investment club. He's a part of Earn Your Leisure and Market Mondays. He's probably on there
Shout
talking.
out.
And Ian
So
Dunlap compares stocks to NBA players. You know Steph gonna hit at least 100 3-pointers in the 82 game stretch.
hold on, run that back.
So you should bet on him.
Hold on. So you said he's connected. What?
So what Ian Dunlap does to help people understand stocks is connect them to NBA players.
Right.
So
Absolutely.
think of Apple like LeBron James,
Yep.
of Google like Steph Curry, and think of Microsoft like KD. These guys are guaranteed each year to put at least 18 points a game on average. And I'm talking at the very little.
Ain't
And
gonna
if
give you a playoff. Ain't gonna give you playoff presence.
and going to give you playoff presence. So if you know that they're guaranteed to deliver that performance, LeBron James, Steph Curry, Kevin Durant, if you know that Apple is guaranteed to drop a new phone every single year that people gonna buy, even though they only changed it a little bit, you should probably rock with them because
Facts.
we're always gonna be spending their money with them. Man, that was great. That was great right there. That was great right there. And I believe that it actually helped us to get off one of our segments, That right there was the money minutes right there.
Sir.
That
Yes,
was the money
sir.
minutes. Now we're gonna talk some would you rathers to wrap it up. Let's see here. Let's see here, Quan. Would you rather you had $50,000 right now?
Mm-hmm.
Would you rather invest that $50,000 into a single stock or a index fund or ETF?
Holy shit.
And expand on what the index fund and ETF is again, and why. You gonna tell you why you be going there, but yeah, what would you rather do, man?
Ah, that's tough, man. That's tough. Well, I'm gonna tell you what I would rather do because you feel what I'm saying. At the end of the day, it's what would you rather do versus what necessarily everyone wants to hear you do. I'm investing that 50 goddamn thousand in a Tesla because I want to get as close to being in that shareholders room as possible. So whatever it takes to get in that shareholders room and be a part of making decisions and hear what's going on in the company and hear what's going on in the world, because understand that Tesla's $1 trillion company. You feel what I'm saying? So not only do they know well, I'm sorry, um, their owner, Elon Musk, is a $1 trillion man. So he is in control and he is tapped into everything that's going on. So I want to invest as much money into as much access as possible. You feel what I'm saying? If I'm in Tesla, if Tesla sees that I'm dedicated to committing to investing in their company and seeing growth within their research, that 50,000 I'm invested in the research, you know what I'm saying? I'm investing it into certain things that Tesla has going on. Guess what? I'm going to start getting closer and closer and closer to the answers that I have for finance, for the world, for how I can generate and how I can create an empire that can't be stopped. So for me, I'm going to go with Tesla because I want, man, I feel like for some reason, if I don't learn from Tesla and be able to create my own, I'm going to be one of the biggest things on Tesla. So it's either or. So I'm making sure that I'm invested into what I believe in, man.
And when he talk about being able to talk to, the owners board, or who are you talking about being a part of again? That
Part of the
group,
shareholders and all that, being a
the
part of the guys who
share,
make the decisions.
the shareholders club. When you own, the more shares that you own in a company, the more pull that you have towards making decisions in that company.
Hmm. Trust me,
They
you'll
have
start getting letters and everything.
These
Yep.
own one share of a company. These companies have shareholders meetings that be live, just like this. And the
Yep.
questions that you asking us, you can ask the CEOs of these companies
Yep.
and give them suggestions on how to move forward to better invest your money.
Because you're committed to seeing that company grow. So the more you're committed, you show your commitment by what you give. And that, I mean, man, those are great. I think that's a great just overall lesson. Whatever it is that you're trying to get, you probably got to give to the company, man. Those companies don't believe that you are a true asset. Goddamn, Rick Ross, man, he actually promoted Bel Air before he even was a partner in the company. So if you read his book, he made sure that he created value within the company before he ever made a dollar with Bel Air, because he knew if he showed what his name and what his value could do to the company, he knew they would give him money and they would allow him to be a part of the company and a part of the company growth and a part of the company image and mindset. So now it's damn near his. You feel what I'm saying? So I gotta
Brother,
show
you
my commitment to the process. Yeah.
gotta show the commitment to the process, my man. Gotta show the
How
commitment.
about you?
That's
How about you,
phenomenal.
bro? How about you? How you playing that one out?
Quan, you froze on my end. Little blinking in and out. In the comment section, is bro freezing in and out on y'all end? Because
Can
if
you
he
hear me?
not, I'm gonna keep it rolling. I can hear you
Bet, bet,
clearly.
bet. You good? You can hear me now?
I'm good.
Bet, 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 bet.
It's like in the movie that, yup, yup.
Exactly, exactly. So all of those shows where you see, yes, 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 yes. So like in Empire now. So when you watch Empire and you watch how all of those people that come in there and it's a lot of people. And Lucius is always talking about how because a person has bought a certain amount of shares, he has more control in the company. He has it. You feel okay? Is we solid? Okay, yeah, yeah. So a certain power is able to be transpired throughout the company based on who's acquiring the most shares. So if you pay attention in Empire, a lot of times they're gonna say, "Hey, put money into this, put this much money into this," because they want to start acquiring as many shares as possible, so they can have control in the company. So yes, you're completely correct about that.
So you got a would you rather for me, Birdie?
Yeah, I got a good one, brother. I got a good one. Would you rather have a 850 credit score, or would you rather have $50,000 in cash?
850 credit score, because they probably gonna give me 100,000 just because I got a good ass credit score.
And bro, so this the crazy part. So the crazy part about that is, so if you got an 850 credit score, you're gonna get that 50,000, but you're gonna get that 50,000 from six other banks.
Bro,
So,
it's more important than money.
huh?
Is credit more important than money?
So look, bro. So I'm having such a battle with that right now, because you hear so many people saying that cash is always still king. But for me, I'm starting to look at it like, no, it's not. Because if I lose my wallet right now and $100 is in that wallet, I'm not getting that $100
It's going
back. But if I have that money into a asset, it's not going anywhere. I can't lose it. It's not happening. So I mean, for me, I'm starting to look more. It's starting to look more like, yeah, it's starting to me to like, I would say credit is more useful. You know what I'm saying? Credit
because
for me, credit is more useful.
if your credit score is so good that you can borrow $25,000 and
From
they
10
only
banks.
charge you and they only charge you $30,000 to get that $25,000, but you can make with that $25,000. You got to play, and you know that when you invest this 25,000, you can making $150,000.
He's
But when you make your $150,000, you're gonna pay them their 35,000 back and collect the rest. But this only happened because you had a good credit score.
Exactly, because you won't get any of that funding if you don't. You'll have no, and so that's why we talked about credit so tough earlier, guys. Because if you understand that if your credit is good, that you have more opportunity to move around, you can create wealth with no money in your pocket, just based off of the fact that you are paying your bills on time, and that you're making sure that you're creating a budget that puts certain money aside to make sure that you're handling all your bills on time, that you put your money in your savings funds, your emergency funds, you know what I'm saying, you paying your car note on time, you paying certain things on time so that you're able to create a strong credit report and get the things that you want.
Which is why some debt is good debt, but that's
Yes,
for another
sir.
year.
Control over that debt.
Yes, sir. Yes, sir. All right, man. So what was your highlights for today? What you want to lead the people with, man?
Hey, so what I want to leave the people with today, man, is the new social media algorithm finesse, man. And me and bro, man, we really been pondering over this and trying to figure out when we was gonna give it to y'all. And it ain't nothing too crazy, but it is. Because if you understand what you put in your mind and what you focus on and what you see every day highly dictate your decision making, your moods, and everything like that, then you'll utilize this same play. So listen up. Look. So let's say we understand what algorithm is. An algorithm is understanding that your computer is tracking what you're doing and where your focus is. Algorithm to me is just where your focus is. If anything, if we're talking about what your algorithm is, what is it that your computer keeps showing you? What is it? What ads keep popping up on your Instagrams? What new text messages keep coming to your phone, and you're like, how did I get a text message talking about this? You know what, I just looked on Google yesterday and I noticed that after I looked on Google, looking up football cleats, that when I was on Instagram, I kept seeing football cleats on my story. And so you start realizing that what you are searching and what you are viewing and what you are pressing and clicking on is starting to resurface on your news feeds and on your computer, whether any type of internet service, whether it's Google, whether it's YouTube, you're seeing what you're clicking on and using. So the new algorithm method for Instagram is you have the opportunity to make as many pages on Instagram as you want. So the main thing is utilize each page for a certain focus. Okay. So the number one focus. So I'm the owner of No
Oh,
Fear Elite.
this is so much sauce
Hey,
right now.
there's so much sauce because this is gonna change y'all mindsets, man. So I'm the owner of No Fear Elite, founder of No Fear Elite LLC. I do sport performance. I develop athletes. I develop their mindsets, their athleticism, their focuses in exercise and financial literacy. So I have a page where I only post stuff about my company, my business, which is football, sport performance, specified. And then all of the videos that I watch on that page are, guess what? Football, sport performance. So now every time I cut on my phone and I go to my news feed, I don't see y'all at the club. Y'all see people at the club because y'all are looking at people at the club. But all I see on my Instagram is people learning football, people teaching football, and people developing and getting better at football. So guess what? Then I started getting more interested in what financial literacy meant. And I started seeing from the motivation that was coming to my page from football, that motivation and focus was also connected to finance. So I started seeing, let me start looking at some of these finance videos. And I started noticing that it was mixing my algorithms on my No Fear Quan page. So I said, how about I create another Instagram and only look at business videos on this Instagram? And what did that do? That made a news feed, that made ads, that made everything that came to that Instagram page be about finance. And then once I started to continuously make it a habit to look at that finance page at certain times, in certain days, at certain situations, now every time I go on YouTube, I'm getting finance too, because I'm tricking everything around me to show me what I want. Okay, so it's important that if you're trying to bring in finance and you're trying to get acquainted with what finance is and what it means to you, and you're trying to continuously learn. Like, I can tell you right now, I have literally went on my finance page and got at least 3 to 4 different business ideas just from my finance page, because literally it's only financial gurus and people that teach finance telling you how to make money. So if you want to start learning more about finance, and just because you have wants in football, hair, golfing, tennis, cheerleading, it could be anything, you still can figure out how to make money. So create that new Instagram, make it, if your name is Sandy, Sandy Financials. Okay. And then you go on that page and you just go and watch financial experts, and you continuously learn from financial experts, repost their posts, speak about financial, screen record and repost it, tag people, get acquainted, start investing in certain courses, and just get a part of that market. Okay, and once you get a part of that market, man, you'll never leave. So make sure that you utilize that strategy so that you can start embedding your mind with financial tips, financial focuses, and financial lectures. Okay.
Man, phenomenal that you put that. And that's phenomenal the way that you put it. Our not only our physical diet of what we eat is important, but also our mental diet of what we.
Literally.
And
Literally.
you were able to share that for people so they can create a new mental diet and a new healthy mentality towards the things that they truly desire and bring it more and more in their life. The
I love.
message I leave you all with today is going off and piggybacking on exactly what Quan said about making new Instagram pages and liking just the things. If on your Instagram page you're seeing whatever you're seeing and you now want to just learn about finances, make a new Instagram page about money and finance so you can look at those things and learn those things. And guess what you're doing? You're changing the rules so you can win.
Yes.
It's your life. You're in control. You're in control of it. And you can always change the rules to where you always benefit.
Yes, sir. Cause God damn. Can you hear me, brother?
I can hear you.
The main thing about understanding this algorithm thing is this algorithm was created to make you a consumer. And that's the funny part about it, guys. We got to have a certain pride. And even with finance, I had this pride with football because I'm a football coach, ex professional football player. It's in me to just want to always beat whatever is against me. And man, understanding that the algorithm was really created in order to make. Can you hear me, bro?
I can hear you.
I don't know what.
I just can't see you, but I can hear you.
Yeah, well, the algorithm was really created to make you a high level consumer, man. It's created to make you a person who sees certain things and says, oh, I see cleats, I see gloves, I see socks, I see shorts, let me buy. But now,
This you will buy.
and you will buy. But if you take the time to say, you know what? I'm focused on something else. I want to lock in on something else. I want to make the algorithm work to my favor. Make that algorithm, make life, make finances, make business, make your focus work to your advantage. Yes, sir. They tried to shut me down off that one.
You're a phenomenal brother, man. You're a phenomenal brother. Hey,
Hey,
with that being
likewise, just like
said,
my brother.
thank you, brother. Thank you, brother. And hey, and I can think that we agree. With that being said, It's been a phenomenal episode giving y'all this game. We look forward to seeing you all next week on the next episode of Our Financial Awakening. We're going to have some amazing topics. Go ahead and share this episode when it posts to your friends, tell your family members, tell the people at work, tell someone that you know that will
Yes, sir.
benefit from this information, because that's
Absolutely.
what we're here for, and that's what we're dedicated to do, to benefit the next person with the knowledge that we've obtained. And we not only looking forward to just sharing what we know, but to learn more and more, to grow more and teach more. Hope y'all have a good night, for real, for real.
Yes, sir.
Hey, with that being said, it's Lamar Howard, aka Tank, aka the Knowledge Bank, with my mans.
No Fear Quan from No Free Elite LLC.
Sir, and this is our
Our financial
awakening.
awakening. Let's go.
My man.
My
Hey, y'all have
dog.
a good one. We'll see y'all next week.